back. You're now tuned in to the other side of sports, OSS 980. I'm your host, Laws. We in the playoffs. I'll start with the first game, Saturday afternoon, 4:30. The Colts against the Houston Texans. I think on a podcast, I think we might have been unanimous on this one. A little bit split on who will win. I mean, I don't know if I picked the Colts or not. Not sure. I have to go back and check the tape. But nonetheless, the game happened, and it was clearly evident right out the gate that the Colts were here to play football. They were executing on both sides of the ball. Houston looked rattled. For much of the first half, it was a slow-scoring game. A lot of field goals in the game. But eventually, the Colts were able to get into the end zone. And, Houston could just never find their footing offensively to get back in this game. The Colts dominated this game once they got the lead, and they were able to hold and maintain that lead throughout the game with the 21-7 victory. Shout out to the Colts. Jim Irsay, I mean, he went to congratulate his team in the locker room. And,
I'm a perfectionist,
guys. So he should.
I know you guys.
I don't know whose idea that was, but whatever. Second game Saturday evening was the Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks. Dallas Cowboys is a good team, no hate. You know what I'm saying? I know people hear us. I don't think the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl, but they did win. They did win this game. Cowboys won their game at home. I think that they deserve to win. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. And that was that. What was the score in that game?
24-22?
24-22.
Something like that.
Yeah, so I mean they for those who I think the spread was 3.
2.5.
2.5? Oh, so they got you. Sorry, bro. They ain't getting your bread back off that one. So that brings us to Sunday's games. We had the Chargers at the Baltimore Ravens. This was a heck of a game. I mean, both top-notch defenses going against each other. The newbie kid in Lamar Jackson versus the old veteran in Phillip Rivers. And, I knew this was going to be a good game. Lamar Jackson loses 2 fumbles in the first quarter, and he gets them back, but you can just tell right away, Chargers wasn't about to have it, dog. They were prepared for this game. They were prepared for the read option, and Melvin Ingram was just a disruptive force in this game from jump. And it seemed like the Ravens really didn't know what to do. You could see, people were saying, oh, you should put Flacco in and stuff like that, because Lamar Jackson was having a tough time. But truly and honestly, I believe personally, it was because of the scheme. Like they came into the game trying to play it the same way that they've had much success, no taking away. But I mean, this is the playoffs, and you need to have some wrinkles in your offense, and it didn't look like they had any wrinkles. Before the game even hit halftime, there was all this. You could see white fans with the look on their face, like you could just tell that people were like, you need to get Lamar Jackson out. Like this guy, needs to be out of there and put Flacco in. But truth be told, they didn't get to this point with Joe Flacco. They got to this point with Lamar Jackson. So, to do that, I have a lot of respect for John Harbaugh, because, that was a tough position for him to be in, to have his quarterback not playing well, to have, Tracy, the sportscaster for the game, was asking Harbaugh if they were going to see Flacco. So it was pressure mounting. And I don't know what was said to Flacco, because he kept putting his helmet on and taking it off. And I don't know what was said to Lamar Jackson, because he had a serious look on his face. But nonetheless, John Harbaugh just let him hang in there. And eventually, because they had to go to a passing offense, I thought they should have been a shotgun to begin with. I'm not sitting here rooting for the Ravens. I'm just trying to explain some of the reasons why he struggled mightily in the first half passing the football. And once they went in the shotgun and they kind of like went the 4 wides and spread the offense, he was able to get the ball downfield. So for all those people, he can't pass, I'm trying to want to slam. Like, dude, the Bama still had 2 touchdowns. And when they opened up the offense for passing, you can't criticize the man for not passing when they're calling run plays. I mean, that's not his call. Now, when it went to passing, he passed pretty well when they had to pass to get back into the game. All the power. Shout out my man G-Man. Much props to the Chargers. They came ready to play. Anthony Lynn had his team ready to play, and they played very well in this one. That brings us to the last game Sunday afternoon. It was a burner. We have the Eagles versus the Chicago Bears. And, a lot of people had the Chicago winning this game. They had a better defense coming in this game. But as we're coming to find out, dog, you cannot bet against Nick Foles, dog. This man came out slanging. Shout out to Alshon Jeffrey, who started the year out kind of cold, dealing with injuries. But then he found his way. In this game, he showed up big. Golden Tate showed up big. So those acquisitions that the Eagles made mid-season to get Golden Tate on their roster came to play in this game. Actually impressed me today because he made some throws that I didn't know he was capable of making. And, he really played a good game. He put his team in a position to win. But the kicker missing the field goal, to me, it culminates everything we like about football. Like, it was pressure. He makes the first one. Then they call the timeout, and then he misses it. I think the Eagles almost botched that last possession down by the goal line by playing around, trying to run Darren Sproles 2 times, and then they finally looked like they just switched the play that they ran on 4th down to the other side to Nick Foles' right hand, because that's where he felt comfortable. It looks like that was the game plan. People should call the timeout like a true veteran. That was a strategic call of a timeout to cause him to just feel the nerves of the moment, to feel the tension of the moment, and bounces back and they lose at home, and it's a devastating loss for the Chicago Bears, devastating loss. So that's it. Playoffs will be following. We'll get videos here and there. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, check out the podcast. Share the podcast if you rock with us heavy. We family. So rock with us. OSS 980. Other Side of Sports on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. To hear the podcast and hear us go more into depth about the playoffs and stuff. And we out.